Hello and welcome to the Blytheway Morning Show on Core Finance. On Bonnie Hughes, Business Development Morning for Royal Haskoni DHV. And our guest today is Jeff Stanley. He is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Panthera Resources. They are just about to go public on AIM on December 20th. They have projects in West Africa and their flagship property in India. Please give us some information about your projects.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. I'd be glad to. I think, well, as you said, the flagship project is in India. It's called Bukir. We've been operating in India since 2004 and under a joint venture agreement with our partners over there. We defined a resource of about 1.74 million ounces and then applied for a prospecting license. And we've been going through a prospecting license process for some time. The reason we're looking to list now is that we can now see a clear path to the grant of that prospecting license.
Well, it's very rare for a company to actually list on AIM that has a resource already, so that's a really good thing.
No, that's absolutely right. And we have a portfolio of properties in West Africa as well, which are quite prospective. Earlier stage exploration, but with walk-up drill targets that we'll be testing over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. But clearly the flagship project is Bukir in India. It's in Rajasthan. The Geological Survey of India has done quite a bit of work there. Hindustan Zinc has done some work, and the work we've done subsequently. There's been about more than 150 holes drilled in the project now. The Geological Survey of India has announced their own resource on the property, just exploration work for scientific purposes. It's 106 million tonnes at 2 grams for about 6.7 million ounces. So it's not compliant under any of the codes for defining resources, but it does provide a really good target for us to go out, and as soon as we get our prospecting licence, we'll be able to work towards drilling that up towards JORC compliance. So.
And where are you in your achieving your prospecting license?
There are about 4 steps to achieve to be granted the prospecting licence. We have just succeeded in passing some significant milestones. The federal government in India, Government of India, has indicated that we are, how do I describe it? Back in 2015, the mining legislation changed. We had rights to the property that, because of a reconnaissance permit we'd owned previously. We've just been through the process of demonstrating that because of those pre-existing rights, we are saved under Section 10A(2)(b) of the new legislation, and therefore our rights continue and we can be granted the prospecting licence. So, that's a huge step forward for us in achieving the prospecting licence grant. So now there is a number of subsequent steps. Committees handed back that decision to the state government, Rajasthan. They then approve it, hand it on to the federal government, India. The federal government, the Government of India, has already indicated they will approve it. They approve it, pass it back to the state government, and they execute the prospecting licence. So
yes, these things are always a bit of a process, but at least you're quite far along in the process.
It is a process.
Almost complete.
There is no doubt about that. It's India. It's a bureaucratic place to work. We've had to learn patience. We've been there for well over a decade, but the prize has been worth fighting for.
Well,
it
look
is
at
a great
Panthera
project.
and Hindustan Zinc. I mean, those are both very successful mining companies. So.
And there are a number of obvious examples of companies that have gone to India, have been able to acquire great properties and achieve real success. But you have to be patient. You have to know what you're doing. You have to build the relationships, and the success does come.
And so how does the joint venture work with your partner?
Well, the property was originally identified by a fellow by the name of Surendra Chaku as an opportunity. A number of the principals of Panthera had worked with Surendra and Billiton as exploration geologists, so he brought the opportunity to us to form a joint venture, fund the exploration. So we at the moment own 70% of the joint venture company. His company, MMI, Metal Mines of India, owns the other 30%. And we have to fund the exploration through to bankable feasibility study to maintain our 70% holding. So yeah, that's essentially the deal.
And so what is the strategy or the exploration program that you're planning on the project?
Because there's been so much drilling done on it already by Hindustan Zinc and the GL survey of India and Indo Gold, we have a very well-defined idea of exactly where we have to go to drill to define a substantial resource. So we have a target and a program defined to drill out a 6 million ounce resource over a 2-year period once the prospecting licence is granted. So yeah, we're all ready to go.
So I noticed that you raised about 2 million Australian dollars in June, and that you've got quite an interesting shareholder base. You've got Macquarie in there. You've got a lot of management owns quite a bit of shares, which is really nice to see.
Indeed.
And also too that you seem to have some backing from Singapore shareholders or ownership.
That's correct, yes. We've arranged a financing package with a group called Republic Investment Management based out of Singapore. That's a 3-stage financing package. The first tranche of financing has already been injected into the company. That was at 25 cents Australian back in June. So that was a $2 million investment. Upon the IPO, they invest a further 2 million Australian dollars at 35 Australian cents. And then subsequently, on the successful grant of the prospecting licence and the ability to be able to go and drill out in Rajasthan, they invest a further approximately 2.7 million Australian dollars at 65 cents. So we have the project, we have a balance sheet, and we've got a team that can deliver. So it's a pretty exciting position to be in.
And how come you chose to list on AIM and not any other stock exchange?
We felt that the London market was the best place for the mix of assets that we have. This market has a history of investing successfully in Africa, across Asia, has relationships in India. So we felt it was geographically and from an investment perspective, we felt it was the best market for us. So.
And so the funding that your partner is providing in Singapore, is that enough to cover, sort of your costs for the first year of your drilling program? Oh,
absolutely, yes. We've got an active exploration program planned in West Africa over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. We essentially have near walk-up drill targets there that we'll be testing over that period. Our balance sheet will be approximately 3 million Australian dollars upon listing on the 20th of December. So we're in very good shape to fund our exploration at least through the first 12 to 18 months quite comfortably. If we're monstrously successful in West Africa, we'll have to raise additional funds, but with success comes the ability to raise capital. So
exactly. So
that would be a good problem to have.
Exactly. So you're in Burkina Faso, which has got a lot of very good, successful mining companies there. And then you're in Mali as well. Now I noticed that Endeavour Mining just purchased a mine that's not far from one of your projects.
Yes, both Burkina Faso and Mali are located in a terrain of very prospective geology for gold. The greenstone belts there are equivalent to a number of different regions globally that are very prolific gold producers. We are located adjacent a number of major gold producers. We're also specifically located quite far south, so we're well below that line that kind of demarcates the areas of unrest and conflict. So we're in geographically safe, stable regions of both Mali and Burkina Faso with 3 properties that look pretty exciting.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jeff, and I look forward to hearing all your news and what's going on with the rest of the company and interviewing again on Core Finance Blytheway Mining.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you again soon.